Hello, this is Lisa Russick with the podcast We Are All Psychic, and happy Cinco de Mayo. If you were watching, we have a party going on. We have Nichole, and we have Jen, and we have Jill. And if you are not knowledgeable about who these people are, they've been on our podcast before. Nichole is the host of A Psychic Story, and Jen and Jill are the hosts of Common Mystics podcasts. So I would love to ask all three of you at once, you still think we're all psychic?
Yes.
On Cinco de Mayo in 2024. We all, yes, I do too.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. We got that over with. So listeners and watchers, like I said, this is a video podcast on Spotify. We all got together on emails and we decided we wanted to do a podcast for you about what we do, about being psychic podcasters in this field. So we have some questions that we wrote up and we're each going to answer them. Y'all want to just dive right on in?
Yeah, absolutely. Bring it.
All right, Jill, I'll have you go first, and Jen, and then Nichole, and then I will go last, I guess, or somewhere in there. If sometimes I burst out, you know that. So I will ask the first question, listeners and watchers and guests. How has being a psychic podcaster changed your life and your belief systems? First, you, Jill.
Well, I think it changed my life where I feel like I am really more focused on my personal relationships and what I'm giving to someone's, or how my energy is attributing to whether something going positively or something going negatively, and how I am trying to work my day job and just like my sister, my husband, my friends. And it made me really aware of what I'm bringing to the table energetically.
Wow.
Yeah.
Would you say it built some confidence then?
It's humbling. I think it's a humbling experience because I'm usually the one that thinks I'm right all the time, which a lot of times I am.
I like that too.
A lot of times I am, but a lot of times it's not about being right. And I think that that's part of my problem, is that it's not about being right. So even though I am right most of the time, it shouldn't be my focus, right? It should be how I navigate.
Yeah. And so like doing the podcast has kind of taught you that, like, was there a moment or anywhere where you just kind of realized that about yourself? And
I think there's been many, many times over the research that Jen and I do for Common Mystics that I feel so strongly about something, and the energy surrounding the situation may be what I'm picking up on, but that doesn't necessarily mean right or wrong, good or bad.
Right.
And those boxes is what I am trying to get out of. Something just may be is what it is. Yes. And literally I would tell Jennifer, I hate that when someone's like, it is what it is. And now
I've always hated that saying too.
Right.
That's just the way things are.
Yes. And now I understand, like, it doesn't mean, oh, that's just how it's going to be. What it means is it's nor good or nor bad. It's just what it is, literally.
Right. So. Right. And that's a really cool thing. I think that's awesome. And how about you, Jen?
Well, before Jill and I started Common Mystics, Jill was the psychic and I was just her sister. I was the psychic sister. And even though over the years, Jill has been kind of encouraging me.
She's annoying because she's always been psychic. She's always been psychic. She just never tried it.
But I didn't really believe it. Like, yeah, sometimes things happen, but that doesn't mean I'm psychic. Right. But doing the podcast, I say it. Every time we record, I say we're psychics. You know what I mean? And saying it has kind of made me, it's settled in now. Like, okay.
Oh, interesting.
Right. So and talking, not only saying that, yeah, I'm psychic, but talking about the experiences that Jill and I have.
And you get so much validation from her on that podcast. And from you get it from Jen too, Jill. You guys give each other
that's true.
Validation.
That's true. But also it's a journal for us is what it is. We go on these experiences and then we process through them and we validate and we do the research. And it's like, holy hell, this is real. You know what I mean? Whereas before I was like, now I'm like, wow, I am psychic in the sense that we all are psychic. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like not in a magical, I'm not whipping out my wand, but you
could, it'd be cool.
It would be cool. So anyway, it's just kind of made me trust that it is true. And this being our journal has really just helped me process and reflect and stand in that truth.
That's really cool. That's so really empowering. I love that. And how about you?
You guys are kind of stealing my answers here.
I
was thinking about going at the end, closer to the end would be easier, but I guess no. But well, actually, before I answer your question, I have a question based on follow-up to that. Is that, would you say it's also strengthened your intuition?
Ooh.
Definitely. Like for me, it's when you work it more and you're recognizing that you're working it, it becomes like a muscle. It kind of takes over when I need it without having to call on it now, as opposed to before I would have to like, meditate and like really bring it out. Now it just takes over.
Yeah, because that's what I wrote down is it strengthened my intuition because I work at it kind of when I'm interviewing and I'm talking to people, but also just reading the situation in different ways that I probably wouldn't have in day to day has definitely been one of mine. And then the other that I wrote down, which was at the top, was it's really given me purpose. Because I think you guys all know my story is that I was with my friends and family, knew what it is that I did, and that was a part of who I am. But really building on what Jen was saying is as far as like giving me that authenticity and stepping into that truth in a different way.
Yeah, big way.
That is so public, but then also, I don't know, just the people that write in that say that you've changed my life. You know, someone said that I saved her life, and there are real people behind this that have these lives that, and you think and you know that you're making a difference, but then when you see that back so much, just in terms of the resilience that people have and what they give back to, that creation of community that all we have. It's not me as a psychic story or what you guys are doing. I think it's given me purpose for sure.
That's something I can agree with too for mine. In my case, like I actually believe there's a creator now throughout the podcast. I've always been kind of agnostic, not sure, but I do believe there's a creator. I have that out there now. That was very new throughout the podcast. I think it was probably about a year ago. I said, I feel it. You know, I believe that now, and I felt it kind of come into me, and that dropped in. And we had some guests who, like, I didn't believe you could really cure an ailment with energy work at all. I think you could soothe it or make it better, but you can. We had like Dr. Bill was one of the guests who did this. He put us into a meditative state, and then it took all our pain away when we did that podcast. I just blew my mind. And there was a Bi Wu was another one who started me on that. You can heal your body when I had all this pain. And everyone who told me that, I'm just like, you can't do that. And they were right. That's how a lot of my sicknesses and the problems I've had that had the mysterious illness kind of thing going on. It was energetic, and I had to fix it that way mostly. And there's still, of course, health problems that I have to fix the doctor way. But the major pain I was in was coming from that. And there was a guest who named Chigusa who taught me how to open my heart chakra in a podcast. She did it. She did a guided thing. It wasn't quite a meditation. It was like a technique. And I could feel it open, like, and I can do it now. Like I'm doing it now. Feels so good. And then I think the main thing I've really started working on is being more discerning, like trying to put my heart and my logic together. And this helps with guests because I get to see how they do it, and that's changed a lot of ways I handle things now, especially learning how the guests handle them. So I do energy healing. I'm a Reiki master, and I don't really agree I didn't used to agree that could really heal something, but I really believe they're all integrated now: the physical, the mental, the emotional, and the soul, or the energy, or the spirit. That's amazing. That's pretty much for me, and
which is huge. That's no small things that you just described. That's huge.
They are big for me. Yeah. It's been a life-changing thing. And when Nichole, you said the purpose thing, it never felt like a purpose until probably the last year or so. And I just couldn't stop. Didn't want to stop. It was about a year ago. My old co-host asked me, she said, "Are we done now? Or is the podcast done?" And I was like, "What? No, no, I'm doing this forever." So that was, that's kind of when it started feeling weird. And then, but overall, the main thing I've learned is a lot of confidence. I've gotten, being in front of a camera, talking to total strangers used to be scary to me, and I love it now. And I wanted to connect with people. So I did. I got to connect with you three ladies and a lot of other people. And it's just, I hate to say it. Sometimes I don't like the word tribe, like soul tribe, but I feel like I'm finding my soul tribe in a way, like doing this podcast. I've met so many wonderful people, so
I can see that.
Yeah, I love that for you and for everybody too, because it's like the spiritual community, hopefully, is inclusive and it is a true community. And like you said, whether you say your tribe or your people or whatever, that community. But I also think podcasters as a whole are very open and try and share their lessons and their learnings with others. I found maybe Reddit itself isn't as inclusive and people are like, they're trying to attack. But when you ask for support and or insight from other podcasters, they don't hold the knowledge.
No,
they really are about sharing, which I love too. So it's kind of this crossover of two different types of industries. That you have the spiritual and then you have the podcasting world with, that collide, that is really awesome.
Yeah, it is. You're right. That's
especially because psychics can be a little competitive and weird. You know,
why is that?
I don't know, but
is that going to derail us if we talk about that a little bit? Or I don't know.
We can. It is a weird thing that some are jealous or envious or something.
Or some are just so they want to prove it. And so we're in a class about being psychic, and it's a lot of like the classes that I would take.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, and then they just and you're like, I get it. We're all psychic here. Like you can put your psychic. They're so amped
away. About it. Yeah. They kind of take the attention and the energy off all into them kind of when you're in the groups like that.
Right.
Like, I've been in situations like that where someone just gets like the spirit of God enters them or something. And they're
just want to tap them and be like, yes, you are psychic. And I believe you are, you know what I mean? It's fine. So.
Okay. Well, we can move on to our next happy little question. I'm going to do something crazy. I'm going to make Jen start this way. So we'll go around
okay.
Clock counterclockwise, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Go to clockwise for the listeners, I think. I don't know, for the watchers. We'll figure out. I'll go to Jen. So our next question, listeners and watchers, and guests. What was the biggest aha learning moment for you? And if you have more than one, that's great. Biggest aha moment, Jen.
The biggest aha moment was when Jill and I were in the car looking for a story, because on Common Mystics, we asked the spirits to lead us to verifiable stories previously unknown to us that allow us to give voice to the voiceless. And as the navigator, because Jill is always the driver, for reasons we won't get into, but Jill is the driver and I am the note taker and also the navigator. And so being a perfectionist type A person, I hate making mistakes. And so it'd always be like this high tension. Oh God, right or left. And then on this one episode, I said right. And I'm like, oh, I don't know if that's right. But we found out that it didn't matter at all. It doesn't matter if you go right or left. The spirit that is supposed to come through that day will come through, whether you go right or left, whether you end up in the place you thought you were going to end up or not. It will always come through. That's cool. It was kind of like I can relax a little bit. Like, you guys, they're doing their part. They're doing their part. And really I don't have to be such a control freak. I'm on this journey where I can just trust that I'm going to be where I need to be at the moment I need to be there. And that was a huge aha for the podcast, but also for life.
Yeah, that's a big release. Yeah. God, yeah, that's a huge one. How about you, Nichole?
Oh, shoot. When I was reading the question, I didn't know if it was about podcasting or about the psychic stuff. Okay. So I would say going back to strengthening my intuition, I, again, use it more in interviews where I've seen my evolution. I hate going back and listening to old episodes of myself, so I don't really remember or recall. Like I try not to, but I have seen my interview style kind of evolve through the ways that I ask questions and how spirit comes through. Where I'm like, I feel led to ask you this, or what about this? I never want it to be about I'm reading the person or the situation, but that's starting to come stronger. But when I was in a session, I was preparing for a session. I think all of you have heard this part, but where the question that the person had was, how do I connect more with my spirit team, my angels, and my team? Yeah. And I was writing down and channeling some tips for her. And then I heard my guides and angels come in, and it was, you need to write about us. And it was right when I was trying to set these energetic boundaries because I had a lot on my plate. Don't want to take up all of the time on here. And so I said, okay, I'll honor this request, but I need these things to happen first. And then I fast forward 48 hours later, all the things that I asked for happened in an email about writing this book and all of the things. That's and even those moments of, and I'm going to cuss here, holy shit, this stuff is real. Like, I think
they still happen.
Our lives, as psychic as we are, and as much as I believe in this, where you do still have some doubt. And that was just a moment of all the things colliding, my own intuition, how this thing was happening for this person, the podcast, the book, but also that when I set an intention to learn more about myself and setting the energetic boundary, but what I need the universe to send me, was a big aha moment where it just kind of came full circle. And I was like, wow, this works. So I'd say that would be one of them for sure.
I love that. Were you just sitting there and it just kind of like all came together?
Well, it was like a weird thing where I don't know how to explain it. It's not like I hear in my right ear, but when I'm picking up messages for other people, and I'd love to maybe hear how it comes through for you, a lot of it is through my clairvoyance. And so I'll see things in my mind's eye, or I'll feel things intuitively, and then I just know, and then there's thoughts and there's more inner dialogue.
That's kind of how mine was.
Yeah, but this one was like just like almost like a child trying to get your attention and saying like, hi, you need to like pay attention. And it was a message that was clearly for me. And I just heard the thought, you need to write about us. And so that's where I knew it was different. And then I was like, I'm busy. Like, this is not for me. This is for this person. I'm trying to get prepared. So anyway, it was interesting how my intuition kind of like evolved, and then it was getting additional messages and how now I know to use that for whether it's myself or someone else.
That's really cool.
And the vulnerability to be like, these are the things that I need. Mm-hmm. That even to be like, hey, I was
ticked off. They were giving me something else to do, to be honest.
You are the busiest person I know. So I can see that.
I was ticked off. I was like, seriously? Yes. But
my phone doesn't recognize my face. Hold on, because I'm smiling. I'll go to me. My biggest aha moment learning experience. It's a really cool experience. When we had Mary Beth Decker, I think was her name, on our show, and she's an animal communicator. Mm-hmm. And I mean, if y'all want me to, I can play it, but no one's ever been able to read Gandalf, no animal communicator. We've had quite a few on our show, but they can't get him. You know, they're always wrong. And she sent me a 3 minute and 33 second recording of what she picked up from Gandalf during the podcast after, like the next morning, she sent this recording to me. And it was just the sweetest thing I'd ever heard in my life. And maybe I'll put it at the end of the podcast. Everyone can hear it. But for me, it was just like, there are genuinely sweet natured giving psychics out there like her, who she didn't have to do that. I didn't tell her no one's ever been able to read Gandalf. You know, she just said, oh, not on the spot. And then she did it later, just as a gift. And so many people on the show are just so compassionately giving like that, you know, and that's just like nice to be around, because I'm not around people in Alabama like that, as you can imagine. Not everybody in Alabama is, you know, whatever. But I love meeting people from other cultures, because I like to learn about their cultures too, and especially in their spiritual beliefs. So that's been a big aha for me, how big it is, how much there is. And like you were saying, Nichole, or when you were saying, like it keeps happening like faster and faster the more you work with it, or more of it happens. And then there's more you don't know, and then more happens, and there's more you got to learn. And that was kind of an aha for me too, that it speeds up when you're working, you know, and doing the podcast to help speed it up. Because I learned so much from so many different people. So yeah, those are all my ahas. But that recording was just,
that's very special.
It really was.
Especially
for
and I love his name. I think I've told you that before.
And in the recording, she talks about how he really thinks of himself as Gandalf the White. And everything she said was Gandalf. I mean, it's so cute. And while I was playing the recording the first time, he got up and was rubbing my face. Aww. And I took pictures of him with my other phone and sent them to Mary Beth. And I was like, what are you doing when I'm playing your recording? It was adorable. It was so cute. It was really
special.
Yeah, I love that a lot. What about you, Jill?
There are so many things that Jen and I had the experience of learning doing this podcast. One of which is that what I think I know about psychic ability and how energy works is a fraction, like a very drop in the bucket.
That's what I was getting at with you learn more and more, and then there's more. Yeah.
Exactly. There's so much. It's like I will never consider myself a master of anything, because there's so much to learn. And some examples of that is the time experience Jennifer and I had in Ridgeway, South Carolina. Another thing that we're seeing as we're traveling around the country is that energy picks up on what we're doing, and they throw another story with the same themes just these past stories that Jen and I just published, they have almost identical themes with different twists. And it's just crazy to think of. And again, when we're in the field, we don't know what we're picking up on until we do the research. So to go to go from Hartford witch trials to a story in with Rebecca Cornell and how the trial of her murder created legal precedents for the Salem witch trials. It's just a crazy coincidence that we would not have known about. So just being curious about the country, the energy that we still have as a society, whether it be generational trauma or what's being held in the ground around us, and how that is being used and manifested, is just crazy to me. And I'm always surprised about it. I think
Jen and I, when they pop up, right?
Right. And how we don't think about it. And how we don't think about it. We just pop up a new condo building over something, or a school over a cemetery with dead bodies buried underneath it. And just expect that. Why am I feeling off? Well, I don't know. It could be because there's dead bodies underneath you.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. And Rome, maybe that's why it really fell, the catacombs.
That's a new theory I hadn't thought about, but yes, potentially.
Hey, Lisa, I'd like to know, if it's okay, I want to know what Nichole's technical podcasting aha was, because it sounded like
you had a technical one too.
Yeah, like a podcasting sort of aha.
Well, I got to think about this because there's been several. Well, I guess I was thinking more like podcast aha moments. Like it's not technical as much as I have found a level of responsibility. Like I don't ever want to have and be the person that Nichole Bigley is the gold seal of approval on the guests that come on my show. And there's a big sense of responsibility that I think people weigh that on my shoulders. Like, well, if this person was on Nichole's podcast, then they're legit. And I can't control how somebody may operate after the fact, or if they change their perspectives or beliefs after the fact, or anything like that. So the aha moment when it came to podcasting was, this is a little different, at least for me, and how my show is set up, where people really take my word or my interviewing someone just because I'm curious about them is like vetting them. And
that's obviously uncomfortable. And
that's the Oprah effect. Because now we you know what I mean? Like Oprah, when she brings like Rachel Ray, Dr. Phil, Dr. Oz, we associate like Oprah. What were you thinking? When it's like, these people are individuals, and she met them in a time and a space. So I understand.
Yeah. And so when you were asking the question, like, what are the big ahas? Like there was a moment where, and I'm trying to say, I'm not saying like I'm the person. No, I'm saying this from a place of being humble, is that when people then reach out and say, well, I don't know, there was one person in particular, I don't think he renewed his accreditation to something. I'm part of the International Association of Business Communicators way back. I haven't renewed my membership for years. Well, this person probably didn't, but they went on in his bio and vetted it and then said he's not legit because this membership hasn't been renewed. And I'm like, I don't have time to do that. It's like,
no, you don't have time. It's not on you. It's on the guest.
But an aha moment about podcasting is, yes, I take this seriously, but also the listeners, there are some people out there that really like take your word as gospel. And so I'm like, I don't want to be that. I want to still have fun and open and have the community. And so that's really more where I was getting towards, I think.
I can understand that. I feel like a lot of people do look up to you because you have a very accessible podcast. And I think that that would be a burden for me if I ever had that on me, because I don't know. Locally, a lot of people come, mostly like 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds will come and try to like learn tarot from me and stuff like that around here. But that's it, but I would be very uncomfortable with that spotlight or that expectation out there of you, that would make me uncomfortable.
Well, it also sucks because people and this is something that Jen and I talk about a lot is that people put psychics on a pedestal, and we're people. And
Not
that's part of, yeah, that's a good point.
Different. Yeah.
It's so when people are like, oh, you're psychic, you're special, you're holy, you're God, like, no, we're just people.
No,
we have baggage, and this guy just didn't renew his shit. What do you like? What, like, you know what I mean? Like, calm down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm not a 60 Minutes, and I don't have a whole team of fact checkers that are going behind and like looking at everyone's bio and making sure, that they went to this college or this or that or the other. And also, and I don't want to like, take up the whole conversation about this, but then there was also someone too, where I had a controversial person on the podcast, and I had a lot of people email me and say what their opinion is, and even say things like, well, I don't want to follow you, or it really makes me question all the other guests that you've had on your podcast before. And I respect that opinion, but also I tuned in and I don't feel like that they're harmless. And I don't take it so seriously. I mean, I take it seriously, obviously, because it's my name and it's my podcast platform and everything else. But at the end of the day, you never give any one person your power, whether that's me or someone else. And I thought that this person was lovely. Maybe they market themselves a little too much, but that doesn't mean that just because they're trying to sell a business and make money off of it, that they have some sort of bad intention. So anyway, that's when you say the aha moment, when there's other things where as you get bigger as a podcaster and you have more listeners, obviously there's also going to be more room for opinion, which is a wonderful place. That's why we have the world, but just being kind about how we share that is important,
Yes, you're right.
Well, I think we as a culture have gotten in the habit of being fed only things that we agree with. So it's so annoying that people feel so uncomfortable or so jarred when they hear something that they may not agree with. And then all of a sudden it becomes something they're angry about or something that's reflective on something bigger. Can it just be that you're not comfortable with that point of view and just end it there? Does it have to be more? Does it have to be vitriol? No. Can't we just say, well, I love Nichole, love her show. That person didn't dig. I'll go on to the next. Why does it have to be so like
or stop
personal? It's like personal, man. That's like attacking you as a person. Almost.
Unless you had like the Antichrist or Hitler on and you were giving them like a platform or
summon Hitler.
I would be like, okay, that's a choice that we'd want to talk about.
Yeah, but let's talk about that. I think to your point, Jill, is that I don't necessarily, just because you follow someone on social media, and I'm not even going to get into politics, but let's say you follow someone who you don't believe in their beliefs, but you may follow them to keep your eyes open and to understand a different point of view. Sure. Or you listen to a different news channel or station because, again, you may not agree with what they're saying and that they're trying to sell you. But if you cannot understand the world, if you're only talking to yourselves or people that are like-minded.
That's so true.
And I think the part that's hard on the psychic world or the spiritual community is when they do trust us a little bit because they're like, they have some sort of supernatural power that I don't. And so that's on the person, because if you don't trust your own intuition or your gut or what, and that's why I would say, if it resonates with you, great. If it doesn't, take it or leave it. But it is not a do or die situation. And so that's where, and I'm going to get off my soapbox, but you're 100% right. Yeah.
You are. And some people, when they're starting with this stuff and the energy and knowing things and the downloads start coming in and, those, for people never had that happen. Some people just can't, like, it's so freaky. It's so free. It was freaky for me, but not that. Some people, it's just like overwhelming. And, I hope that, I think all three of us do, or all four of us as three, like your podcast and mine, like there's so many listeners that aren't talking, and I think those are the ones we're reaching, the ones who aren't necessarily talking yet. I think they're doing the things we suggest to them. And, like maybe they're going to haunted houses. Maybe, Nichole, maybe they're opening up their clairsentience, for the first time. And,
I think
it's amazing when they're out there. The quiet ones are out there, For
Jen and I, when we literally ask, we need to be led to a verifiable story that gives voice to the voiceless that we don't know about. We are saying anything, even the ones that make us feel uncomfortable. And there have been plenty of episodes that Jen and I mean, the Confederate soldier one, where we go, God damn it. And it said voiceless on the tomb. We're like, I don't want to sit up here and give voice to the Confederates. But there was a point that was bigger than just Like, really, there was a point that was bigger than just the fact that they were Confederate soldiers. And it opened my mind to what those people were going through as people of the time. So, I mean, those are real conversations that we have.
That's awesome.
And it's uncomfortable, but part of learning and growing is being uncomfortable. And I feel like, and just being psychic is being psychic. I mean, love it, but an empath is the worst thing on earth.
Yes,
you're picking up everyone's shit with you all the time. Being psychic is being vulnerable, having to be like, I am saying things that I have no evidence about other than my own experience. And quite possibly, I probably look like a fool to 80% of the community around me.
And then there are people that judge you for the fact of, well, you didn't get this right, or you're looking like a weirdo, or whatever it is. Yes.
Exactly. So I think part of it is like, if you want to, and I love listeners and I love their feedback, but know these things. In life, you're going to feel uncomfortable. In life, things are going to come up that you may not agree with or may not feel comfortable with. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Wherever information comes to you in whatever media, whatever avenue, take it, and then judge
any information
for yourself. Like,
get a lot of it and lay it all out and look at it and form your own opinion.
And keep what you want and throw out what you don't, but don't not accept information because you're just prejudiced to whatever things, or you have a bias about it. Accept it, rationalize it, and then think about, why do I feel this way about it? Where does that come from?
That's a very good question.
Amen.
Now I'm going to drink. Okay.
So your Gatorade.
I drink to that too.
I'm trying to chug this probiotic thing. I'm just, like I said to you guys earlier, I'm not really a fan, but anyway, here we go. I will chug it after that. Amen. Cheers.
Cheers.
But you are our Oprah of podcasters.
Oh, well, thank you.
You're
you're making me blush. I appreciate it.
What are you going to give us today? Do I get a free car?
You're going to get some pretzels, some dots. You get some pretzels, and you get some pretzels. No, just kidding.
Nichole,
we'll tell a story about that later.
Okay.
I want a list of Nichole's favorite things. Can we get a list of 10 of Nichole's favorite things?
Oh God, now you're really setting me up for failure here. Sure.
But I want it in a song.
I will sing my favorite things, but I'll sing, these are Nichole's favorite things. I think she likes dogs though, so you wouldn't be whiskers
dogs,
on puppies.
Absolutely. That's all
whiskers on puppies.
Pretty much.
That's as far as I got. I'll try to do the whole thing.
That's pretty much the list you will get. Dogs, cats, angels, of course, crystals,
microphones,
keys.
You like soft fabrics.
I do.
You like soft fabrics.
Yeah, really.
I do
soft
too.
fabrics,
I like everything
fluffy
funky.
socks. Yes. Okay. Let's take this. So those are some of mine. Lisa, what are some of yours? Your favorite things, and then we'll go down.
My favorite things in life in general.
If you were to sing the song, if you were to sing the song,
I'll sing my song.
Here of a few.
I do like raindrops on roses. I do like whiskers on kittens. I don't really care about wool mittens. Mittens kind of make your hands sweaty, you know.
But I am being serious, though. Not about
my favorite thing in life is to learn something. I like to learn something. That. I don't care if it's good or bad. I want to know the truth about something. Truth is very truth about like opinions. There's no such thing, right? It's just the opinion is the truth is someone has an opinion. But there on this stuff there aren't any facts really that scientists will accept. But the thing I am happiest about in my life is just being able to pursue this in this lifetime, because I had past life readings, and it seems like I've lived a lot of plagues. Like the pandemic this time. And
oh wow.
And they tell me I've been alive through all these plagues that have been going on throughout the earth time. And I also learned, and I also just love that I can heal myself now, not in every way, not every single thing, but like when I have mast cell activation for my hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, I can do a Reiki thing and it stops, and I don't have to take allergy medicine. Stuff like that is just like, I love that life has become more interesting because of doing this podcast and learning things from other people that I didn't think was real at all until I experienced. I really don't think anything's real until I feel like I've experienced it, can process it, and that's one thing that I really, so.
Jennifer,
Cats are just the ultimate answer.
Some of my favorite things are Labrador Retrievers, my favorite dog.
They're so cute.
I love
English ones.
English, yes, not the American labs that are like athletic and, jump a lot and like eat drywall, but the stocky, short-legged, chunky English ones with the big praying mantis sort of face. Oh my gosh, I just love them. I could eat them up.
Oh,
I love my grandma's peonies that I took up from her house and planted on the side of my house. The ones that my lab did not eat, because she did eat many of them, but there are plenty left and they're budding now. And I'm really excited because they're grandma's.
She kept that dog from eating them, or the dog knew. The dog knew.
That and I love the forest. Yeah. I love the forest. I love walking through the forest. So those are 3 of my favorite things.
That's awesome. I do like the outside world as well. Yeah.
About you're the last one.
I love swimming. I love being in water. I love different types of music. Raises my energy.
Yes, music.
So I like when it's like I have songs like I've been depressed for like 2 weeks. So I've been listening to Jim Croce, and it just makes me feel good to like listen to I Have a Name, or I listen to Elvis. If I Can Dream. Those are the kind of songs that like make me like happy. And I'm like,
thank you for saying that, because I do the same thing. I'll put on, if I'm in a really bad place, I'll put on some kind of dance music and make myself kind of get up with some food. And all of a sudden, dance around the house or something.
It's true. And I like listening, like I like having music on in the background, no matter what I'm doing. I hate just TV noise. I don't like music.
TV. Yeah. Noise.
Yeah. I really like running. I like running, and it's ridiculous because it clears my head, and I'm focusing on not dying because I'm not an athlete. And so I'm just like, I'm going to make it home, like that's my focus. And it's very stress relieving for me. What else? I really love my animals. I have 2 cats and a dog, and I love them so much. And I love their different personalities. And I love learning things from my sister, to be honest.
Oh,
I do.
Sisterly
love.
Sweet. Sisterly love.
I like, tell me a story.
Tell us all a story.
It's
true. Okay, we have a couple more questions here, my friends. This one, we'll start with Nichole. What have you learned about yourself, and what has changed about you because of doing your psychic podcast?
Oh, wow. I think we talked about it a little bit, but I would say definitely my confidence. I thought I was a really confident person, but I didn't realize how maybe, I wouldn't say it was low self-esteem, but especially when it came to psychic abilities and intuitive abilities. But I've learned a lot about myself throughout it. One being, and this is just kind of like a little fun fact, is that I find that our spirit team tends to communicate with us the way we either like to communicate or be communicated to. So I tend to be really direct and kind of the headline, the bullet points. And so that's how they communicate with me. But I didn't realize that until later. So that was something I feel like that I've just learned about myself, and it hasn't really changed me as much as just better understand who I am.
Clarification is great.
Not just a human being, but a spiritual being. Yes. And also, Lisa, I love what you said before too about I don't really believe in something until it actually happens to me. So I am a little bit of a healthy skeptic when it comes into these things, but just the experiences that have unfolded over time. It's like you can't make this shit up.
No, you can't make this up. Some of it is it's unbelievable.
Yeah. And it's not really about me, but really just how wonderful so many people are and how many people I've been able to connect with, like the 3 of you here, but also just the listeners. It just really gives me hope in humanity, quite frankly.
That is what I need. Yes, that does.
Hopefully that's, the big positive that, so I would say those are a few things.
That's awesome. I guess it's my turn. I mean, look at what I wrote, because I knew I would forget what it was if I didn't write it down. And it was being a lot less self-conscious. That's the first thing I wrote down. I used to be very self-conscious when I was younger and played music. I couldn't really perform very well. I could write and I could record and all that, but I couldn't perform very well unless I drank a lot, which made me play badly. So,
could be entertaining.
Podcast, it was kind of it was hard to just start doing. I just did it. A friend of mine named Amika that I'd worked with a long time ago told me, you should do a podcast. She said, I can listen to you on the phone and I can't listen to anybody else on the phone. I hate the phone. She says, but when I'm on the phone with you, I can listen. It doesn't bother me. If you have a good voice, why don't you do a podcast? And I was like, I don't know what to do it about. So I gave it some thought, and I just at that time, all the psychic stuff was hitting me, coming back. It was like 2018, 2019. And it was just like hitting me across the face. Come back, come back, come back. Stop that writing. Come do this. And so I did. And the podcast was part of that, just starting that. And I didn't do much the first year. But the thing I learned the most, I guess it's just having someone to explain some of this stuff to me that's happened. Or, like we were just saying, Nichole, you were just saying everything escalates and there's so much, we can't make up this shit. It just happens over and over and more and more. And I have become very adaptable because of that. I'm a Taurus with a Capricorn moon, if you like astrology explanations. And I do feel like it does accelerate a lot as you work with it. If you're thinking about the energy, it's going to be happening. If you're paying attention to it or doing anything with it, you're going to have magic. I saw a fairy in my bathtub when I did a purification bath. And that's the second time I've seen a fairy. It was Beltane, though. It was Beltane. So, of course.
So they're celebrating.
I'm not a witch, but I do love some fairies. I mean, I guess I like to do witchy stuff. I don't know. But I mean, the podcast has opened me up to a lot of other things, like romantic relationships. When I started this podcast, I was married with 2 stepchildren. And then I divorced him during this podcast. And then I went through a 2-year relationship where the guy screwed around like my head up. And then now I'm single again. This guy just before this podcast dumped me. So pretty much. And I've learned a lot from some of the.
I take issue with saying that he dumped you. He didn't dump you. You said
I gave him an ultimatum, and
exactly.
and that's him dumping me. He chose that over me. I consider that.
It's not the same thing.
Don't frame it that way.
Yeah, it's not.
That's not what happened.
No, you said is this behavior I cannot accept in my life. And if
that's
you
exactly
choose
what I said.
to do this behavior,
and the podcast has helped me. Yes, the podcast has helped me from other people teaching me this, how to make boundaries and how to not push them and how to, especially with romantic relationships, not to expect them to be my other half or anything, or expect anything.
That's a good
Anytime
point.
I expect anything from a love relationship, it gets bad, So
interesting.
No, it's just one of my. Well, I know it's one of the reasons I came back here. So reincarnate. I have to figure out this romantic love thing. Like, what is it? What is it? It's always been on my mind since I was a little girl. I wanted to be a nun, but I didn't like how nuns couldn't get married. So I'd always had a boyfriend crush, and all through my life, I always had a man. I don't not always, but I usually have a boyfriend or someone in my life that I'm very close to.
It's so interesting that you are coming up in this, having this perspective specifically, because literally with both of you, Jen and Nichole, I was just saying how I spent so much of my life focusing on getting a relationship and being in a relationship. And if that's one thing that I could tell my younger self, be like, you just don't even worry about that shit. Just worry about you. And it's so interesting that you're having that conversation. I get it because I was there. Yeah. But let me tell you,
I put up with a lot now.
I think, girl, you got it. You're amazing. You're psychic. You need to explore and heal and move forward and get confident in that, which you already are, but like solidify that. And then let them come after you. Get your,
I've never chased
your bloom
down. I've never chased one down before, and I wanted to. That's what I did with this guy. It was fun. But I guess it didn't work. So I want to try. I do I'm not afraid. If I have clients call me up and should I text him? Yes. That's how you find out. That's how you progress things, make actions, But I feel like it's empowered me to listen to these other women, especially who come on the show, and they've come out of marriages that were not for them, or a lot of the corporate, like you, Nichole, and were either of you two in the corporate world before?
We are still kind of. I'm
not corporate, on education.
Okay, I was just thinking the big businesses and stuff like that. Nichole, you have experience with big businesses and stuff, right?
Yes.
So, and I remember when you were talking, I think it was on one of your podcasts or the one you did with us, you were saying that you used it in your work, your psychic side, but you just didn't talk about it. And that's why
I'd be like, when do we drop this press release? Let me tell you what day. I never got out the astrological charts because I can't do that stuff. But I was like, all right, what day feels better?
Yeah. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's awesome. And I love the career women who have come on and just said that, they found their freedom coming out of, doing whatever, however they pursued energy work or healing or whatever. And they decided to do it full time. Maybe they'll go back to their job. Maybe they won't. Maybe they'll make it work. But a lot of the ones who come on, I'm just so inspired that they have the balls to go do it and, just try it. And they feel good. They're happier when we're talking about it. It's not necessarily because you're working from home or anything. It's really about using the energy. I think everybody loves doing it once we get started with it,
For sure.
So
is it my turn?
I think it's Jen's turn. Yes.
Jen's turn.
So looking at.
So I think the biggest thing that's changed in my life through doing this podcast is honestly my relationship with Jill.
Oh, he likes me.
I do. I love you.
How much did she pay you to say that?
I had a beer. I was like, this is what you're going to say.
She threatened me. She's such a bully. No, because we grew up in a situation where trusting people in our family wasn't safe. Being vulnerable with people in our immediate family wasn't safe. And so at first it was kind of trying to figure out, like, is this safe? Is this not safe? Can I really be in this completely vulnerable position with my sister? Not only in the psychic work, but in the business work, because Common Mystics is an LLC. We are business partners. Yeah. So there's the psychic work, but then there's also the creative work. And then there's also the business work, right? So it's multi-layered. There's a lot here. And we have gotten to the point where we can be 100% vulnerable with each other. And we know that we can trust each other 100%. So if there was any sort of hesitancy or fear, it would usually come out in like
a big fight.
A big fight because
about
of communication, because of communication, because I would say something and Jill would go to that place of, she's saying this, but I wasn't saying
she's
that.
My older sister. So she's judging me. That's where I was she's judging me. Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
Right. And
there's a whole thing about butter popcorn that we can get into offline, but it was legit. Like I was like,
a huge fight.
It was like, you need to leave my house right now because this is my popcorn. This is how I eat it.
Well, now I'm really curious.
What do you do with the popcorn?
So popcorn is a very low calorie snack. And so I would go to Jill's house and we're always dieting on and off, but she made me popcorn and I usually eat it plain. I don't usually put butter on it, but Jill had this like 0 calorie spray butter.
Yeah.
But and if you can spraying 0 calorie spray butter takes 20 minutes. So I just open it up
and your finger, right?
Yeah. And it hurts your finger. So I opened it up and I poured it in and then I shook up the bucket and I'm like, here's your popcorn.
And she handed me wet, dripping popcorn and I couldn't eat it.
With Parmesan, sprinkle it with Parmesan.
Would you have eaten it though, Jill? Would you have eaten it?
That's my jam.
No, that's what you do with
That's how I eat.
Yeah.
Oh
anyway,
so
I was like, I can't eat this. And she heard you did it wrong. She heard, like what you did was wrong. And that wasn't what I was saying. That wasn't my message, She's
like, why don't you love me?
Yeah.
Love my soggy.
Yeah.
Why don't you love my soggy popcorn?
Exactly. Anyway. And that was the frequent cycle that we'd go in, or she'd say something to me and I would interpret it as right with, Jill doesn't trust me. Jill doesn't, whatever. But we're so past that. And I love that. And we still have work to do, but that trust issue and, I think we've proved to each other again and again on so many different levels that we're always going to be there. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And even now when we have a fight, it's like,
get your shit together. We have to record in 10 minutes.
Right. So anyway, that's the biggest change, I think, for me.
That is amazing. I love that. That's beautiful.
I think my biggest change from doing this podcast is knowing that I don't have an infinite amount of energy. or patience, and knowing like I'm like at 25 right now. And so like, this is how much I have, this is how much I can give, and knowing that and being able to communicate that, whether it be to
That's a really good one.
Yeah. Like to Jennifer, like, I can't do it right now. Like or even to my boss to be like, you know what, you're killing me with this. Like, I can't deal with this right now. Or to my husband, like, I cannot do this right now. So knowing where I'm at and judging how much energy I have to give to whatever, and knowing where that energy needs to be dispensed and how to prioritize it is something that I'm getting better at.
That's a big deal.
Before, I used to just take everything on. I used to be like, yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, I'll do it.
And then blow up.
Yeah. And then I'll be like, why?
Overwhelmed. Yeah.
Why won't you eat the popcorn?
I'm still there. Why won't you eat the popcorn?
It was soggy. She
Nichole, it was dripping.
her hand in it. And it was.
I know. I'm just.
But again,
you're trying to start a fight is what you're doing.
I meant that I haven't moved towards the prioritization is what I meant.
I need to do that too. Yeah.
We're still at that. I will say somebody at work, why won't you eat the popcorn? Because I'm still there. That's going to be my new thing. They're going to have no idea what I'm talking about. But anyway.
But I literally just made that popcorn last night and it made me happy. It was wet. I ate it. It was fine. So. But yeah, that was the best. That's the best thing I learned about this.
She went back in the portal.
Where I'm at. And
hey, Jill, you're in the portal.
Yeah, are you might not here? Oh, I'm sorry. Am I back?
Now you're back.
You're back.
You're back now.
Okay, sorry.
Well, we didn't get to hear you. You have to say it again.
Where was the last thing that
it was all like
all we heard was that was the best, and then we saw.
Yeah. that was the best thing I learned, is to know where my energy is and where I needed to give it, and being able to ask for help and be like, I just can't do that. That
is one of my hardest things. I cannot ask for. I have a hard time because I never get it when I ask, hardly ever. So, but I do. So
it's a trust exercise.
Not much. Yeah, it is. Yeah. But since I've lived alone for 3 years, I just, I don't have anyone here to help me anyway. But if I did ask for a call for someone, like ask somebody to check on my cat search, for example, and they won't do it, even if they're my best friend. So I don't like to ask for help, but I don't get it.
Yeah, it's a huge thing. I was on mute. Sorry. I was like, why is no one reacting to what I'm trying to say? But I was like, am I in the portal? No, I was going to say that's a huge thing as a psychic, as an empath, as any sort of intuitive and the abilities that you have, but definitely as a podcaster, to kind of just like pull it back into what does it mean being a psychic podcaster? Because podcasting is not easy. I think a lot of people that start out with it are, I'm going to get a microphone and I'm going to talk into it, and then I'm going to put it out there, and whatever. It takes consistency. It's dedication. It's about making sure you create really good content. It's about looking back at the content you've created and being okay with deleting things because the audio sucked before. It's a lot of stuff. And so I get where you're coming from, Jill, because when you're type A, like I think a lot of us here are, that we just want to do good in all areas of our lives, not just even good, like do the best in all of our areas of lives. And you can't do all of that and be all things to all people, especially when it comes to podcasting, and especially when it comes to being psychic.
Yes.
Such a good point.
Amen.
Well said. So we are talking about this. What about being a psychic? A podcasting psychic is the best thing in your opinion? I think that's where we're going next. And I will start with this one, I guess, because this is number 4 and it's puts me on. So I love the guests. The guests are my favorite part. I love learning from them. And I like getting a new point of view, even if I don't agree with it. I like to hear it and try it.
Actually, real quick, can we maybe start with, this isn't a question on the list. I'd like to end on a positive. Can we maybe start with what's the worst thing?
Worst thing?
Oh, okay.
Okay, we can do that.
To be negative, but at the same time, or maybe it's not the worst.
Maybe we can do best and worst.
Or maybe it's like things to consider before you get into podcasting as a psychic.
We do have that as number 5 as our question. What advice would you offer people wanting to start that kind of podcast?
Let's do that one
together.
Yeah. Let's either rephrase the question to bring them both together, or do that one first. Try it.
Okay, we'll let you. I'll give it. I'll make
I
you.
feel like they mixing them together because they go together.
Okay, let's do that.
Yeah.
Okay,
so, and for me, the advice I would offer is don't do it unless you love what you're doing, because you're not going to get any money. You're not. You will put all your time and effort into it, and you love it if you are called to do it. I really hope we have more psychic podcasters. I really hope are intuitive, spiritual who can reach, because with the four of us, we can reach so many people, but there's a lot of people to reach, to get them open up. And everyone's nicer once they start working with their energy. They tend to get kinder to themselves, kinder to other people, happier. And the guests always bring that to me. So usually, it's not every guest, but just about every guest will bring that energy up in me, especially if they're working in the field and they're really genuine. And then I feel a sense of purpose too, like what Nichole was talking about, that the advice, don't criticize, about telling Nichole this, don't criticize yourself for old podcasts or anything you've done in the past. It's just like a book. If you're writing a book, you can edit it and you don't have, you can change it. You can even change it after it's published now. The future is here. But make sure you love your topic. And if you're going in on it with a friend or something, or like you two did, sisters, make sure you're on the same page about what you're doing, I would say. And I guess the worst thing that's happened to me on this podcast is losing my co-host.
So everything happens for a reason.
Everything happens for a reason, and I do believe that. That. Yeah.
Well, she even asked you, when are we done? Are we done with it?
It was like a year ago. Yeah.
Well, that's what you said earlier. I don't know. I'm just picking up on what you put down earlier, but that tells me she was probably not into it, or her heart wasn't into it the way you are.
And sometimes it was, and sometimes it wasn't. I think, we'll eventually talk again, but I could just sense from her she wasn't losing interest too, in what we were doing. So, because she figured out what she wants to do, and it doesn't involve the podcast. So I think that's kind of what happened there. And
you're doing good work, and you're going to be doing good work solitary.
I hope so.
And
I do have a few people lined up to be stand-in co-hosts. I asked Donna if she would. She's a regular on our show. She does our tarot talks and all this stuff. She's been on 8 or 9 times. She's just so funny and just brilliant. She knows everything.
That's a good one.
Everything. Yeah. So I asked her if she could co-host sometimes, but she's really busy. So I don't know if she will or not. I might just go on. The last few months, Missy didn't do many podcasts with me. So, but yeah, I definitely recommend. If you're looking at it as a business, you're not going to make any money right away. Now you can build on it and eventually make money, but figure out what programs you need, or if you're going to do the edit.
We'll talk about that later. But yeah.
And figure out if you like to do the programs and the editing, and if you don't, hire someone. Lots of people will do that for you, probably on Fiverr or something. If you wanted to, you can find the people. But just love your topic, and be careful who you work with, and make sure you're on the same page is my advice. And enjoy it.
Love.
All right, Jill.
Oh, me? Okay.
So the 2 questions in one. What about being
good? This is giving me more time.
Okay.
So you go, Jill.
What advice I would give to people looking to start podcasting and a psychic podcast? I would say it's a very vulnerable situation to present your psychic ability in such a large platform where you could be judged or mischaracterized or taken snippets of what you say out of context. So be prepared to be your authentic self, and know that sometimes that's going to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Also, I would say outlines are needed, and editing absolutely is needed. I think when Jennifer and I first started doing the podcast, I was like, I need Jennifer to just edit everything that comes out of my mouth, because she made me so much better. I was like, because I'm not doing it. So someone needs to edit for me. But what I love about doing the podcast is that there are people around the world that are taking the examples that Jen and I are setting in Australia and renting a bus and going around Australia.
They're doing it too.
Looking for stories.
You started a trend.
And it just makes me so happy. And it makes me happy that some people that I read for will say, I don't feel ridiculous anymore knowing that my family's with me in spirit. And not only did you guys model that, but you've given me the tools to unlock that ability for myself. And that's really what Jen and I want to do. I love doing readings. Please hook us up. Like, we will do your readings, but the goal is for you and you and you and you and everyone to be able to do that for themselves. And I love that people are coming to us rather than saying, I need a reading, saying, you validated this for me, because this is what I thought was going on.
Yes, that is a great thing to hear, isn't it? Yeah. And just finding seeing someone have like an aha moment that it's real. With Misty, I did have this one experience. We were in my living room and she's like, we were talking about something, I can't remember what. And she just went, we really are all psychic. And it was just funny. She was like 3 years into the podcast. And she's like, no, we really are, Lisa. Do you know what I mean? We really are.
That's funny.
Crack me up. Yeah. So I think that was one thing that just amused me very much at that time, because she'd been doing it for 3 years and she was on the fence and never told anyone.
That's funny.
I guess I know. Maybe she wasn't, but she actually had that insight that it meant what it meant, or for her, or whatever. I just thought that was funny.
I think it's you. I think it's Jen's turn.
Is it me?
It is Jen.
It's Jennifer.
So advice that I would give is that if you're going to do a podcast, even a psychic podcast, there are so many other people who are doing this. So start by having a really clear concept of what you want to do, what you want to be, and don't try to be anybody else, because that's already been done. So be 100% uniquely you and have a plan to present yourself. Know what it's going to be about. Jill and I, before Jill and I started this, she was talking to a lot of other people about having a podcast, based on psychic ability.
People were asking me to be a part of their podcast,
but they never really had a clear concept for it. So they'd be like, "Oh, let's just sit down and talk." And that's not really enough. There are thousands of people with microphones.
Yeah, it's great to have a topic to really dig through. And most people who work in the field are interested in energy work. They want to talk about it because they have no one else 100%. To talk about it too. Right. You're right.
So I would say, do you 100%. Don't try to be anyone else, but have a really clear idea about how you're going to present yourself and what you're going to talk about. And one of the most difficult things about podcasting for me is that there's always another deadline. As much as you work, as hard as you work, you have another deadline. You know what I mean? So the work is never over. It's just, it's always there. So you have to get used to always having another thing to do on your to-do list.
Yes, that is something. It's always hanging around. I look forward to it, but I know when things pile up, it can get really overwhelming.
I love all of those. What's the best thing to you? You didn't answer
the best thing about podcast. Oh, I didn't answer that one.
That's okay. I was waiting just to see if you were finishing or you were going there.
Yeah. The best thing is how many amazing people that we've met, not only podcasters like yourselves, but fans and, fans turned friends. Yeah. And we're just building this whole, I'll use the word again, tribe really, of people that are good people. Yeah. Really good people. Who
and becoming family. A lot of people are becoming close, they're family to us.
So that's the most amazing thing, that it's not only meeting people, I feel like my circle is enlarged to include
bigger too. Yeah.
People from around the world who just love me, love us and just want to support us. And anyway, it's really, that's
you
the
can
best
feel
thing.
that love. You can feel that love. Yeah.
Okay.
That's nice.
Your turn, Nichole.
All right. Well, you guys are stealing all my answers. No, I'm just kidding. So I would say, I was asking my spirit team here. Okay. What is it that I can say? And I know. And they were saying, just do it. But so if you basically and I was asking, what do you mean just do it? Like the whole Nike slogan. And they said, if you're feeling that call, or you're like, I want to start a podcast, or I want to communicate my story or share this part, because I love all the things that you guys said, like make sure there's a clear plan or a direction, or maybe what's the niche, because spirituality is a niche within religion. And then because if somebody else has already done it, then you're like, well, they've already been there, done that. Like, I don't have anything to contribute. That's not the case. We are all so unique. We have our unique soul resonance and who we are in personality and spirit and all of that. So it's like, if you're getting that message or you're feeling that call, don't think too much about it, just do it. But then the other part is do it with your eyes wide open. You know, Jill, you were talking about it's not really having a thick skin, but just knowing that you are going to be vulnerable, and you have to start to going back to the confidence again. I thought I was a very confident person, but I was not confident in this as far as being able to share it more, because I think underneath I knew that there was going to be this sense of vulnerability. But that's what people love, and why it creates such community is because when you're able to share that and just be like, all right, here's what I'm thinking, here's what I'm feeling, but also help and share and tell you guys do the voice of the voiceless and help share those stories. Lisa, you're exploring your psychic abilities by having guests come on and learning so much more. Like, that's all unique to all of you, but it's also relatable to so many people. So I would say that the advice is just do it, because you're not getting that sign or that call from the universe if you weren't meant to, but it is serious. You know, you need to have, again, that eyes wide open and consistency with it and everything else. So I would say that those are the biggest things for sure. And then the best part, I mean, you guys stole the words right out of my mouth. We've said it a lot, is the community piece, but also that confidence and better understanding my own intuition. And yeah, for sure. But also I think that, you know, it started for me as a passion project. And I kind of argue, like, I think back in the day, you might be able to make a few $1,000s in sponsored ads on the podcast. Now it's closer to like 500, if that, maybe $50. Yeah. And so you have to weigh the pros and the cons to, it's not going to be really a business model per se, unless you get super successful. And that's where you need to look at other ways of monetization, which I'm struggling with right now. I get millions of views a year, or not views, but millions of listens a year. And I'm still like, making, you know, like,
great. I bet the book is doing great. It's a great book.
The book's doing well, but you don't make money off of books.
Got a great book out there. And not everyone's reading, but I think that's good. But you can build stuff like that. I mean,
But what I mean by that is if you're going into it to make money, then you may want to look the other way, because
energy doesn't.
It doesn't. Right. It's about, exactly. It's about, why are you going into it? What are the reasons and all of that? Because you're just going to get frustrated if you're going into it for the money aspect of it.
Oh yeah.
For sure. And I'm not saying that any of you said that. I mean, there are some people out there thinking, some people that are out there thinking, oh, you're a podcaster, or, oh, you have a book and you're making, it's not it. It's it's about sharing the information, creating this community, and then hopefully, you know, the manifestation, all of it follows from there. But yeah, I would say that I think we talked about some of the worst things earlier about it. It's not really bad as much as I think you need to be flexible and be able to adjust as things come your way. If content isn't necessarily working, try something new out. If people are giving you feedback, is it actually constructive feedback, or is it their opinion? And just taking that with a grain of salt. And so I would say, those are all the things.
Love that. Oh, this is great advice. Everybody, right now, I'm giving you homework to start a podcast of your desire, possibly. And I do recommend the Spotify for podcasters. This is the one I use. It was Anchor, and then they changed it to Spotify for podcasters because you can put your videos on Spotify. And I've noticed that helped us out a lot. When we got accepted into their video program for indies early, because I was an Anchor. I got in before it turned into Spotify. But they let you record in their app. I think they might be taking that. They told everyone they're going to take that function out, but they haven't yet. And they it's just really laid out really easily for starting with an audio program. For example, if you've never done one, the way that it's recorded in that app is just very simple for anyone who hasn't started. And I'm not a Spotify affiliate. I'm just saying it's really good for if you don't have any like recording equipment or anything like that. It's all in the app.
You think Zoom would get on this? By the way, that's a psychic hit for Zoom. Zoom,
yes,
we are just able to publish and distribute this out there. You know,
yes, yeah, and it's I think the best part about is right now, the four of us getting to talk about doing it. It's just great. You know, I that's like, can't talk to anybody about psychic stuff except when I'm on the podcast or get lucky and having a conversation about it. But, you know, here we are on Cinco de Mayo, 2024, just talking about it like it's nothing. Just another conversation about being psychic, because we
Thank you so much for having us and putting this together.
This is great.
I'm sure it was like herding kittens, like herding some psychics is like herding kittens, or at least me. What's the outline? What are the questions? I'm not hopping up. Yeah. Thank you for that. Thank you for putting up with me too.
Oh, you guys are awesome. You have to come back. We have to do it again. If we do it again, we were talking about maybe putting on each other's podcasts. So we might do that for you. We will figure that out. But listeners, I'd like to thank my sponsor, Everclear. Everclear is an advice app where you get advice from psychics and empaths so you can get the clarity you need to create the life you deserve. And Jill and Jen, where can listeners find you as if they haven't figured it out? Common Mystics Podcast. You have a website?
Yeah, commonmystics.net. You can find us on all the socials at Common Mystics Pod.
And Nichole?
And listen.
Oh, sorry.
Listen in wherever you're hearing your favorite podcast.
Yeah. And Nichole?
Yeah. apsychicstory.com. All socials are a psychic story as well. And I think I try to make it really easy for people. Oh, yeah, it's apsychicstory.com. So there you go. And you can listen on wherever podcasts are available. I eventually want to kind of get into YouTube too. Not because I want to. Yeah. I feel like there's just so much more video content. Yeah, just to start to share stuff. But
I
also
did put some of my earlier podcasts on there, but I didn't have a fan base then.
YouTube Shorts. They have this new thing. Oh, I just learned about it last week. So I'm excited about that too.
That's what I was thinking. And then, but also I do have two other podcasts, the Psychic Story Kids Edition, that I will be having new episodes and new seasons for kids or teens that are working and trying to figure out their intuition. And then Supernatural Matters, which I am reviving this year. So supernaturalmatters.com.
Are you going to be podcasting?
She's already the busiest person I know. So good to see you.
Thank you all for your time in that case. And I'm really glad we all got together, and y'all, I admire your work. Please keep it up. And anyone else, start your stuff. We need you.
Thank you so much for having us.
Oh, y'all, anytime. And I love you to death. And listeners and watchers, I love you too. Of course. That's why I do this. And any last words, ladies?
Yeah, I was going to say, did we want to ask people to submit questions?
Yeah. I was forgetting something.
That's okay. I didn't want to interrupt you.
Go ahead and tell them that.
So what we were talking about before we hit record is that we really would love to hear questions from you. I guess it could be around podcasting if you have questions about it, if it's about psychic and podcasting specifically, or what were the other questions we wanted? Because we were talking about maybe doing some other it's like you called it a mail bag or
just any kind of question that you have, like you want to get our hot take on whatever is going on in your life, whether it be work, personal, or a situation that you're not understanding, or you're like, what do I need to know about this that isn't presenting itself that clearly to me? Anything.
Help you clarify and give validation.
Yeah.
Most likely it'll be a lot of validation for you.
And I do listener questions on the podcast. So I do like a separate series. So I guess to kind of just distinguish it as thank you. So if you have a question that's specific for Lisa or Jill or Jen or me that's related to this, just make sure you call that out so that I know to bring it up with them. And I can also look back at some of the other questions people submitted and maybe pose those to you guys.
Maybe if you email commonmystics@gmail.com, use the subject line question for Psychic Quartet, and we'll know that it's about
Psychic Quartet.
Psychic Quartet.
I'm the cellist. I got to be the cellist. That's
Love
great.
that.
And if you want to write me or go to my website, it's www.we'reallpsychic.com. And you can email me at lisa@we'reallpsychic.com, LISA. And I always want guests. And if you have questions, I will do my best to answer any you may have if you want me to. And thank you again, lady. Thank you again, listeners and watchers. Everybody have a wonderful time wherever you may be. And peace out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.